Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And yesterday, we got a report from Ookla, and their Q1 findings show that T Mobile has the fastest network. Now, I've spoken with people in the past, and everyone predicted this to happen. Why did they predict it to happen? Well, nobody right now has the channel bandwidth other than millimeter wave to do and to match what T-Mobile is doing. T-Mobile in some markets is running 100 megahertz of N41 now, and that will likely go to 120, 140 towards the end of this year, where they can achieve it continuously. Contiguous. But I even think in some of those markets, they can easily carrier aggregate the 20 or 40 megahertz of N41 to the 100. So they can more than achieve that this year. And right now, as it stands, Verizon and AT&T can't combat other than millimeter wave. That is the only channel bandwidth size that they are able to put on air right now that can combat N41. Yes, they did purchase C-band, but that'll have to wait until later in the year, but around December, for that to be turned on. And that'll only be at 60 for Verizon and 40 megahertz for AT&T. That's the only size channel that they can deploy this year, at the end of this year. Whereas T-Mobile is going to 100, 120, 140, and then some of the 40 megahertz markets are going to go to 60. Some that are 60 will go to 80. That's something that T-Mobile is also going to scale this year, is the channel bandwidth. Now, on this article from Fierce Wireless, which is another great article, I will leave that in the description down below. T-Mobile likely to hold on to fast 5G lead. And I think, I don't want to say it's a foregone conclusion, because you never want to count out AT&T and Verizon, never. So they have, Verizon and AT&T will have access to C-band on air cleared by the end of this year in the top 46 PEAs. Now you may ask, what are the top 46 PEAs? It's the most biggest markets, pretty much. The Chicago, the Atlantas, New York, LA, just the bigger top markets. And they will be very busy scaling in those markets. Both AT&T and Verizon will be very busy scaling in those top 46 PEAs, which is completely fine, because they want to strategically attack those markets so they can pick up a speed boost in those areas, which is some of their most urban dense markets in population size. So you may ask, how does T-Mobile continue maintaining that lead? Well, as Verizon and AT&T are busy scaling in the top 46 markets, T-Mobile will scale in other areas. Neville said it very clear, for him to get from the 100 million that they cover now, 100 plus, to the 200 million, he has to touch more sites. And his statement is accurate. He's going to have to touch sites on interstates, highways. As I said in another video, I'm anticipating from El Paso to Phoenix on Interstate 10, I'm anticipating a lot of those sites to receive 2.5. And of course, the I-20s and I-80s, all of those interstates are going to start seeing 2.5 scale. And that's a luxury that T-Mobile has, because they had that head start. They had a full year worth of head start, maybe even more, depending on when AT&T gets started with C-band. I'm already hearing that there's some sites in Dallas that have it now. Same with Verizon. They're also starting now. But 1 year worth of head start is a very big advantage. And T-Mobile came out the gates firing. They took a risk pre-merger. They got some of the sites 2.5 ready. They stated that, they made that very clear. So they're moving at a pace that is impressive. I got to give them that. That pace is very impressive. I've seen them literally on one Saturday upgrade like 4 or 5 towers. That's impressive. And another thing that worked in their favor as well is the tower crews. They weren't as busy with other projects. Verizon and AT&T in the last year weren't really scaling anything on their macro sites as massive as the project that T-Mobile is doing. So a lot of those tower crews had available workers to really mainly focus on T-Mobile. Yeah, AT&T and Verizon, they did upgrade a couple of sites here and there, especially AT&T with FirstNet. But here locally, from what I was told, the two local tower crews, they were mainly busy with T-Mobile because Verizon and AT&T didn't have any bigger projects going on, so they were able to focus on all of those permits and get them upgraded. So yes, I know T-Mobile is lowering CAPEX in 2023, but last year they spent more than they've ever spent as a company. In the next 2 years, they're adding in another 24 billion. This year 12, next year 12. So that's a pretty big spend, and that's going to stand for something and mean something. Does that necessarily mean that they're going to be, the overall most quality network? That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. But do they necessarily have to be? They're focused on 3 key metrics: network, marketing, customer service. Those are the 3 key metrics that they're working on. The network, it has to be solid, but I don't think it needs to be the top-notch quality for them to succeed in their strategy. The marketing, they have that down pat. I mean, they're really, really good at marketing. They said it during the Q4 earnings. They said, we are going to change brand perception and network perception in our favor this year in a big way. And they're doing just that. They're running ads everywhere, 4 or 5 different ads. I will not be surprised by the end of this year that they have changed the brand perception and network perception in their favor versus AT&T. Not Verizon yet, but I think I've seen recent reports reported from Light Readings, Mike Dano, that at least on the brand perception, T-Mobile has surpassed AT&T, and towards the end of the year, I'm anticipating the network perception to also surpass AT&T. And again, that's perception. That means the consumer will perceive that T-Mobile's network is better than AT&T's. And that's something that they're really good at. And then customer service, again, that's another key metric. I know right now that's kind of, there's a long wait time, and they're taking a while to call you back. But once you do get a hold of them and it's actually a team of expert, the experience is, from what I'm told, top notch, much better than anyone else. And I've experienced it myself. So it's really good. I think they have to hire more people, open up more call centers stateside to really bring that team of expert experience back, because now they're much larger versus standalone. But I think those 3 key metrics, I think they really work on perfecting them, getting them better. And it starts with the network that will get a cash infusion of $24 billion over the next 2 years. That's a lot of sites will be touched. The Sprint Keep sites will be converted with T-Mobile equipment. They are doing, like I said, I've seen it here. I've seen others send me pictures as well. Like I said, they're doing height relocations. They're going from the bottom rack to the second or top rack, depending on where Sprint was located. If it favors T-Mobile, they will move up to it, and that's a good investment. Yeah, you might pay more leasing, rent, but it's a good investment, and it helps with coverage and penetration. So there's a lot going on at T-Mobile. There's, like I said, there's the network integration, building the anchor network, converting the Sprint sites, which is going to ramp up in May. Then you still got to expand the network. That 10,000 new sites that started as of, if I remember correctly, starting January this year is when they started getting permits and filing everything. So it's going to be an ongoing process. They will have to scale, they will have to expand, and they will have to perfect those key metrics, which they said they're doing, and they're well on their way. They spend heavy on marketing, more so than Verizon and AT&T. And just really briefly, according to the article, a lot of these analysts and firms are very bullish on T-Mobile. Very. I mean, this firm here is giving T-Mobile a price target on their stock of $250. It's currently trading out at $130. So they're very confident that T-Mobile maintains the 5G lead in coverage and speed, and they likely get even better once they start actually deploying millimeter wave at scale, a little bit more at scale on small cells, and they start also incorporating the C-band that they have purchased. And that's another thing too, the cost structure, the way it's set, even though they lowered CAPEX, they said that money includes also deploying C-band at a later time. So everything that they have structured cost-wise and CAPEX-wise, it fits in with their narrative, and it fits in with what they want to do. They want to strategically attack the market. They want to continue growing, taking lion's share of the market, which they likely will. They're still about 20 to 30% cheaper versus AT&T and Verizon. I think they stay that way. They offer any variant of 5G to all customers. And I think they remain competitive with phone promos, deals on lines. So they remain ultra competitive. And the perception is going to be favoring T-Mobile really soon. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below. I just wanted to make this video. Likely was a lot longer than I anticipated, but I just wanted to get these points out there, some key metrics that they need to perfect, and I think they just need to go execute their strategy. It has worked for them throughout the LTE era. They were the fastest growing wireless carrier. I don't think that changes. I think, as many have anticipated, Verizon and AT&T's ARPUs are likely not sustainable in the way that it's structured now, with T-Mobile attacking and as competitive as they are. Especially Verizon and AT&T not so much, but likely Verizon, they will have to make a market correction that will likely lower their ARPU. So again, leave all your comments in the comment section down below. If you have been on the channel or you are new to the channel and you have not yet liked, shared, subscribed, make sure you do so. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when I do upload content. Make sure to follow the social media outlets for more updates and interactions. Thanks again for watching. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.